Hello everybody, welcome to the Stony Creek and Poor Valley Railroad. This is Bill. Today is project day and we are going to do a pretty straightforward project. What we have here is a 1971 Marx Meteor locomotive, and the Meteor is just a plain DC. It was actually a battery operated locomotive. And what we're going to do today is we are going to upgrade this to be able to run on my AC O-gauge setup. So under the hood, this is an extremely simple motor. It just takes the positive lead from the center rail. It takes the negative lead from the outside rail. So what we are going to do is we are going to install a bridge rectifier. And if you look here, you can see the markings on the rectifier. There we go, we got focus. We got our AC that will come into the center. The positive is going to come where the corner is chopped off, and the negative is going to go on this fourth lead. And so all we're going to do is we're going to snip the positive lead the positive lead. The incoming we will connect to one side of the AC lead of the rectifier, the other to the positive. Then we'll cut our negative lead and connect it to the other two. And then we will put all of those connections, we'll enclose them in a little bit of shrink tubing. Just a couple of tools are necessary for this. Got a pair of wire snips and a pair of wire strippers. So let's get after it. Let's take care of the positive side. Oh, one other thing is that there will be a piece of double-sided tape, as I will anchor the rectifier right here on this nice, beautiful mounting place. So let's go for it. All right, so let's first snip our incoming positive wire, and we'll strip that down. There we go. Strip both sides of it. All right, and I do like to twist my leads before soldering, because that's the way I like to do it. And I'm going to make my life easy. I'm going to go ahead and mount the rectifier onto that onto the chassis before I work. That way I've got at least a stable platform against which to solder. So here we go. There. Cool, that will work. All right, so first is going to be my incoming red. I'm just going to bend down the leg of the rectifier. I've got plenty of room inside my chassis, so it should not interfere with anything. So I'm going to put a piece of shrink tube on here. And then let's just solder these two pieces. I generally use a pretty fine solder. So here we go. It's tinned up nicely. We'll tin up the other leg. There we go. And we'll just bring this in here like so. I'm not too happy about that, so I'm going to grab a pair of needle nose just to give me a little bit more control. And you can see that my double-sided tape has failed, so I'm going to have to deal with that real quickly. So we're going to just take a half step back, and we're going to clean that vertical surface a little bit, and see if we can get a better adhesion there. There we go. We're going to solve that. Yep. Everything's going everywhere. And by the way, guys, everything going everywhere, that's just kind of a normal process with trying to do adaptations. All right, let's see if we can get this around here. Pretty sure we can. There we go. By the way, this wire tie will come out when we finish the project. So it's just that's my portable vise, you know. All right, let's try soldering this again. Okay, that will work. We'll just take the piece of shrink tube, bring it up here. I always like to squish my leads down as I bring the shrink tube on because it's just more convenient for me. You don't have to do it my way, of course. And there we go. Lead number 1 is done. Okay, let's go ahead and do our second half here of the positive. And again, we're going to tin up both sides of the lead. We're going to grab a piece of shrink tube, put it right on here, out of the way for right now. All right. It's one side tinned. There we go. And let's go ahead and solder that together. I'm going to bring that up out of convenience. I'm going to actually cut it a little bit shorter because it's just way too long for what I want to do. So we'll just snip that leg right off. Now we'll tin the remaining part of the leg. There we go. I'm happier with that. Wow, that soldered on very quickly. You saw how nice and easy that went. Of course, nice and easy had nothing to do with keeping the lead in the motor. That's okay. Oh, we got barely connected there. We're going to go ahead and give a little bit better soldering here. Doink. There, that's much better. Just feel how much more solid it was. Okay, and we'll plug this back into the motor. There we go. And we'll go ahead and snip our ground wire. Okay, and we'll strip it on both sides. And as you can see by the way that I've done this, if I so choose at a later date, I can remove this rectifier and have this go back to battery operation. So this will be, it's a very reversible change. All right, there we go. Get our inbound wire here, or inbound lead, I should say. There we go. All right, you see that I've created myself a small situation, and that is that my ground wire is too short. So we're going to give it a little bit of extra length. We'll just tap in a little bit more wire. All right, we'll tin that guy up. There we go. And I do need to get one more shrink tube since I'm adding in another segment of wire. Gotta tin that. Tin these while I'm here. Tinning the wires just for me makes it easier to do the soldering when I go to my final connection. All right. I'm sure there are some more technical reasons to do the tinning, but for me, it's just a matter of making my life easier. All right, lead number one. There we go. And we'll put a shrink sleeve over it. There we go. And I only need a couple inches of that, so I'm going to snip and strip. Okay, this is my inbound, so I will route this back here and connect it with this guy. Let's get a shrink sleeve on there. Now, there are many different ways you could do the connection of two wires together. I like the J-hook method myself, which is you put a little J on each of the two ends, hook them together, kind of give them a little bit of a crimping. Now you've got a nice, really solid mechanical connection, and just give it a little dot of solder to hold it. And there we go. Nice solid mechanical connection there. Put our shrink sleeve over it. Now we've got our inbound negative. Now we're going to do our final connection here. Slide our shrink sleeve over it. And we're going to tin our post on the rectifier. trying to be very conscious of where my hands are in relation to the filming. All right, there we go. Just gonna need to move that over just a tad so that I can make this final connection. And then we'll slide our shrink sleeve into place. There we go. All right, so let's just summarize what we've done. So we've got this lead that is coming up from the center rail into one part of our rectifier, into the inbound side. The positive side of the rectifier is going to the positive side of the motor. The outer rail pickup, or the chassis in this case, is going to the other inbound side of our rectifier, and then from the negative side of the rectifier to the negative side of the motor. So come with me and let's go set it on the track and see what happens. All right, so here we are trackside, and let's give this a quick test. This is successful. We can see then that this does go exactly where it's intended to go. I've oriented the chassis and the shell so you can see where it's going to go. So the next step is going to be, I'm going to grab my heat source. I'm going to shrink the 4 heat shrink pieces. I'm going to remove the wire tie and mount everything back in the chassis. We'll be back to trackside in a moment. So here we are with our Marx Meteor back on the tracks, and let's see how she does. So at this point, the Marx Meteor is forward only. That's okay. It runs, as you can see, it's very, very smooth running. Let's get it down to as low a voltage as possible. So that's running at 5.5 volts. It's designed for a 6-volt battery, so of course it's geared pretty high. So it's a very nice little train from 1971, now able to run on my regular O-scale tubular track, and I am pretty happy with it. Hope you all have a great day.